Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for checking out this video here on Show Style and Spirit. I am Ebony, of course, and as you can see from the title of this video, I want to talk about one of the many topics that was discussed tonight during Carlos King's most recent Messy Monday show. And they actually have really intriguing conversation because we all know that Claudia Jordan is intelligent and articulate. She speaks her mind. I feel like she's definitely sensitive and aware of issues that solely relate to women, especially. And Dustin, he is a very well known and successful podcaster. He's very well versed with reality TV. So he does bring his own opinion. I'll say his commentary that's deeply based in his opinions for various reality TV shows. And so they got to talking about jealousy, and I just want to get into what they said specifically. Now, before we do, I ask that you please hit the like button on this video and please subscribe to the channel. And know that everything that I'm saying in this video is alleged and just my opinion. And the Copyright Act of 1976 says that my fair use commentary on these clips are allowed. Okay, so I believe this is Carlos King's panel. I don't know how long it will be because he does tend to rotate that third person. It seems like he definitely tries to make the third person a woman, I guess to include a woman's perspective. But I do like Claudia Jordan being on this panel. I feel like it was meant to be for Claudia Jordan to be on TGIF because I know, at least for me, I got a chance to get to know her better. She never got a fair shake as a public figure, in my opinion, outside of being on Deal or No Deal. After she did season 7 of The Real Housewives of Atlanta, there was a strong narrative put out there that Claudia Jordan was allegedly colorist because she is also a stand-up comedian. And she, wrote some jokes that, some people put out there as proof that she was colorist. And perhaps it wasn't the best jokes, but it was not definitive of who she is, in my opinion. And once she got the job on TGIF, that's when I discovered, she has, real intelligence, and she's very in tune with what women go through, and she will advocate for them, and she would advocate for women often, especially when her co-worker and co-host was Funky Dineva, and he would, in my opinion, say mean things about women's appearances, like the singer Chloe Bailey. And he would frown up his face and say, I just don't like her. Claudia Jordan would be there in a professional way to stick up for women. So I felt like it was definitely meant to be for her to be on TGIF because, especially the Black community, we got a chance to get to know her a little bit better. And I think that that is still the case with her being on Carlos King's panel. They started out talking about the Breakfast Club drama with Jess Hilarious and Lauren LaRosa, and everyone felt like, she should not have gone to the internet about her feelings. Dustin admitted that, it's no secret that he doesn't really care for Jess Hilarious. At least he was honest about that bias that was there and being slanted towards Lauren. But I felt like they definitely had a lot of in-depth conversation if that's something that you would want to hear, when you have the time. So then fast forward, they start reviewing The Real Housewives of Atlanta. And they were talking about the dynamics between Portia and Shamia. We know that they have been friends for several years since they were teenagers. And now we're seeing a breakdown in that friendship in real time, in my opinion. And we know that right now they filmed this content, these Sweet 16 episodes in 2024. Today in 2025, Portia has admitted that she and Shamia are not as close as they used to be. And so the question has been posed, is Portia jealous of Shamia? Please let me know in the comments of this video, do you think that Portia from the Real Housewives of Atlanta is jealous of her longtime friend, Shamia Morton Wangi? And forgive me, Shamia, if I'm mispronouncing your married last name. But here is what Claudia Jordan had to say about methods that you can do to overcome any feeling of jealousy. First, I want to start off with her, and then we're going to get into what Carlos King had to say. And I will come back with my commentary.
Because that will take away from me. Then there's people that come from an abundance kind of mindset that's like, you know what, whoever's supposed to get it, and if I give you something might come back to me in the future, and it's just positive energy. I think anyone can look at my timeline and my life and see that I'm a person that I like being in a crew of badass girls that got it going on, and some look better than me, some are richer than me, some have better bodies than me, but that doesn't make me feel insecure. It actually makes me feel better that I can hang with this crew. You know what I mean? Like, I look at how powerful that image is when we all walk in together. But I'm also someone who was on a team. I think I highly recommend, if you have kids, getting your kids in a team sport. Because I ran track. I had my individual race, 100-meter dash, 200-meter dash, but I loved the relay. It was teamwork. If second leg was weak, third leg was strong, and we all won a gold medal. And if you have that kind of mindset, you'll never lose. You'll always keep winning. I know I'm not the prettiest, I'm not the most articulate, because, that will take away from me. Then there's people that come from an abundance kind of mindset that's like, you know what, whoever's supposed to get it, and if I give you something might come back to me in the future, and it's just positive energy. I think anyone can look at my timeline and my life and see that I'm a person that I like being in a crew of badass girls that got it going on, and some look better than me, some are richer than me, some have better bodies than me, but that doesn't make me feel insecure. It actually makes me feel better that I can hang with this crew. You know what I mean? Like, I look at how powerful that image is when we all walk in together. But I'm also someone who was on a team. I think I highly recommend, if you have kids, getting your kids in a team sport. Because I ran track.
Okay, so I played most of it for the second time. I thought those were excellent points that Claudia Jordan made about, if you see someone who is even more attractive than you, or they've accomplished more than you, or they make more money than you, to feel awesome that you are still worthy to be in their circle. I feel like you can also let that inspire you, perhaps have a conversation with them. A lot of times, especially when you look at, the clear people, a lot of them get opportunities based on who they know. It's not always about qualification. And honestly, a lot of them are not educated all the time, and definitely not more educated than the Black woman. So if you can be in those circles and they're treating you with respect, by all means, figure out, what did they do? Who do they know to get where they are? And the extremely wealthy people, they're less insecure. So they're not going to try and withhold knowledge or opportunities from you, because they already know they got it all. It's when you're like that upper middle class or even lower middle class, and like the white people see, your neighbors see that you got what they got, and they may hate on you. Or like, if it's, sometimes I notice some of my neighbors, like on one side of me, they're white and they're married. I think they look at me like, how are you living right next door and you're single? Especially if people are caught up in material things and they like see your car or something, like, they'll sometimes wish, like, why don't I have that? Why does, like, the Black person, why do they get to have it? You know what I'm saying? But Claudia was saying, look at what other people have and be glad that you can still roll with them and be in their circles. And I add to that and say, take what you can glean from them. And she said, get your kids involved in a team sport to teach them being a team player and not really focusing on what people's strengths and weaknesses are, but they would actually learn how to work together. And I think that that's very key because also when you're in the workplace, nothing sucks more than an insecure coworker who's always worried that you're trying to take their job because it just makes them that much more sneaky, that much more conniving because they are just so worried. And I do feel like the clear people, they struggle with that really bad. Oh my gosh. It's not until they realize that you're not a shady person, you ain't insecure, so you ain't trying to take what they got, that they start to chill a little bit. But my goodness, when they feel, insecure, they can just be downright just ridiculous. So now I am gearing up this second clip, which is what Carlos King had to add to what Claudia Jordan said. And then I want to get into this clip so that we can hear his perspective as well. Because, it wasn't bad what he said. I just wish like some of this mentoring could have been given to his own cast so that perhaps things don't have to always be such a horrible gang up. Kudos and shout out to Melody Sharif for leaving that environment. But, if she wanted to stay on her show, she could have, but it could have been set up for her where it was definitely more professional and less stressful so that she could stay. But let me go ahead and get this clip ready. Please hit the like button for sure. And let's get into it.
I saw that to say, it's okay if you ever felt that way. Mm-hmm. The problem though, is when you don't check it at the door. And number two, when you allow it to fester so hard that you lose a real friendship. So Claudia is right, Dustin is right. What people need to understand is this. At the end of the day, money is energy and currency is energy.
Yeah.
And if y'all don't ever listen to anything I say, in this space, wherever you're in, when you see your friends being blessed, that means you're on the list to be next. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't mean that you become jealous of them. It means your time is near. And that's the beautiful thing about even the three of us doing this tonight. Like, I didn't know this was going to be something we would do, but it's because of the energy and that we have. I saw that to say, it's okay if you ever felt that way. Mm-hmm. The problem though, is when you don't check it at the door. And number two, when you allow it to fester so hard that you lose a real friendship. So Claudia is right, Dustin is right. What people need to understand is this. At the end of the day, money is energy and currency is energy.
Yeah.
And if y'all don't ever listen to anything I say, in this space, wherever you're in, when you see your friends being blessed, that means you're on the list to be next. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't mean that you become jealous of them. It means your time is near. And that's the beautiful thing about even the three of us doing this tonight. Like, I didn't know this was going to be something we would do, but it's because
like that is something that he could have shared in reunion after reunion after reunion. And of course, I played the clip a couple of times so that, you can hear and gather your thoughts. And also what Claudia Jordan was saying is something that should be said to the Destinies out there and the Tishas out there. Like, you can hang with someone and glean from what they do and see if you can apply it to your efforts and your business endeavors. See if they can help you somehow, or even ask to get feedback. I think that's very humbling to ask someone, especially when they are your friend and they are relatively close to your age. But even with the case with them, Melody is younger than them. To even say, hey, how did you grow? How did you scale up your business in just a couple of years? Like, Seventh Avenue Beauty is just, at this point is nearly, I believe, 3 years old or 4 years old. Like, how did you do that? If I was one of them, I would have definitely asked. Oh my gosh. So I feel like that is something that the cast definitely needed to hear. Even if you said it in an informal setting, like a reunion, and you did not have to generalize or put a name on it, then it could be something that they could perhaps self reflect on. And I also think that also speaks to like foundation and parenting that should have been instilled in like the destinies out there long, long ago. Now, I know she had a rougher childhood and she grew up in foster care, I believe, before her dad got her. So that foundation, I know that's a little different for her, but this was just something that came to me when, like, the knowledge is flowing on their Messy Monday show and he's vibing off of what Claudia and Dustin says. There's always like a disconnect, from the shows that, he produces. And shout out to Millichan, Anonymous TV, and Scotty by Nature, who I know they got the tea from Millichan. They reported on an issue at Taste down in Jackson, Mississippi, where a young lady allegedly said, allegedly that Cliff, Latrice's husband, punched her in the chest after they exchanged words about her filling Latrice in on an incident that happened. And Cliff didn't like that. If that happened, that is absolutely horrible. No one deserves that. Even if an employer is displeased with something that an employee says or does, you do not have the right to abuse them. You do not have the right to put your hands on them. And, Cliff has never been my favorite person. He always comes off chauvinistic and he feels like women are beneath men. So, in my opinion, that's how he presents himself on TV. That's his edit on that show. So, if he did that, this totally lines up with how he is portrayed, at least from my perspective. But I'm sorry that she experienced that because that is very traumatic. Everyone talks about childhood trauma, but nobody talks about the trauma that adults experience. And because we spend most of our lifetime as adults, as the adult version of you gets traumatized repeatedly. So I feel very sorry for that young lady. I hope that she heals mentally and physically from what has happened. And I hope that she finds new employment. I hope that she is bountifully employed soon. And again, I'm very sorry that that happened to her. And, they're filming right now currently for Bell Collective. Is that going to be captured for the cameras, even if it's not the actual physical incident? But is it going to be discussed on the show? Are they going to just sweep it under the rug or just water it down? Like, if it happened, the women need to discuss Cliff's inappropriate behavior. And because it's Latrice and because So Gucci and Akeisha have moved on from that show, I'm pretty much convinced that the women will discuss it in detail and, try to force Latrice to talk about it. So we'll have to see how that goes. But what did you all think about the discussion surrounding jealousy on tonight's Messy Monday show? Is there anything that you have to add to that? Carlos again said to check it at the door. When I think of that, I think about praying about that emotion. It is a human feeling that God created, but it gives you another opportunity to pray to Him about it, journal about it, stand in the mirror, say your affirmations so that it does not have to define you. And then you can just move forward and, remember who you are. But I thank you all so much for checking out this video. Please hit the like button on this video as it is a free way of supporting the channel. And please subscribe to Shows Style and Spirit if you have not already done so. I hope that you all had a magnificent Monday and not a manic Monday. If it was a manic Monday for you, it does not define the rest of your week. You will have a terrific Tuesday tomorrow, and I don't want you to be anxious about anything. Everything will go smooth for you. Do tonight what you have to have a smooth morning. Try not to snooze your alarm so that you do not have to rush. And I will talk with you all soon. Bye.